700 billion, untouched for future generations. So now that you even have the oil price sliding up and down, if they want to fall back on it, they can do that. When the former Minister of Finance, Okonjo-Iweala, was telling the governors at the Governors Forum meeting, look, leave this thing for the rainy day, they refused. From $20 billion, it's now about $2.45 as a head. If they go, no, I haven't heard or read in the press that any governor is asking that that should be touched again. Because if you empty it, you're not going to have any fallback. And for God's sake, there's no excess crude money going into that account anymore. Because I think the benchmark you use for the budget is not up to the selling price. So it's actually a deficit.
All this the submissions, all the discussion so far is based on the revenues drawn from crude.
Correct.
What's coming to the government. But let's look at the issues of internally generated revenue. Besides the state having to come up with creative ideas on how to increase internally generated revenue, what do you think the federal government should be doing? Because we've talked about diversifying the economy, but the bulk of revenue for the federal government is from oil so far. So what should be done in terms of, like, okay, we need to spread this thing, we need to break down this economy. There's this, let's bring in the automotive policy, for instance. Okay. Some people have described it as weak and costing the federal government about some billions of dollars in terms of running that policy.
Yes.
What should the government be doing?
I like that question. The president is admonishing the state governors to be creative, but hasn't told us what the federal is going to do. They too need to be creative at the federal level.
Did they admit that they have challenges first?
They said they have an empty treasury.
Okay.
That's one. Some parastatals are owing. The National Assembly is broke. They're borrowing to pay, according to what I read in The Guardian last week, they're borrowing to pay the Service Commission. National Assembly is borrowing to pay the legislators that just left, 7th Assembly. What more allowances for the new Assembly? And nobody has mentioned local governments. So, the federal government, the immediate past federal government, at the tail end of their tenure, a month ago, took some initiatives. I'm aware that the new ECOWAS tariff, which Nigeria, as one of the 15 member countries of ECOWAS, adopted, which is now operative, each jurisdiction has the right to make exceptions to amend the tariff. The Nigerian Minister of Finance released some tariff measures which increased the duty on luxury goods. The minister had announced that they were going to do that, and they actually did it before she left. Only about 2 weeks before she left, it was released. Things like very expensive vehicles, luxury boats are now paying about, on the aggregate, from 20% duty with 5% VAT, it's now 20% duty with 50% VAT. That's 70% duty. A means of doing what? Putting in some more revenue, they're taxing the rich. Another option the federal government has too, which I had advocated, Germany is recommending that to the government of Greece. Put out a capital tax to the richest people earning about $250,000 per annum, or the government of Greece. That could be done in Nigeria here, because what they're doing, they're taxing only goods, 70%, the government, tax individuals. But whether the populace, the citizenry are prepared to accept more tax is another issue.
Where, here?
In Nigeria, yes.
I can give you that answer straight away. I don't think they'll be prepared to accept more tax. Individuals accept more tax?
Same take I have. Some people are even, right now, even arguing that, in their own opinions, some of the tax pressure being put by Lagos government are beginning to be interpreted as being expropriatory.
Some say there's a lot of multiple taxation going on, which we need to clean up first.
So that may not happen.
Introduce another layer of tax.
Great. So, whenever a government is faced with this kind of challenge, the right thing to be done, and this is where I say again, Where are your ministers? Where is your economic advisor? You've been, National Assembly has approved advisors for you. I expect you to have had your chief economic advisor on board. You should do two things. The first thing is you reach out to other jurisdictions that have had this kind of situation, other countries, and seek the advice of your president and with his team that help to solve that problem. Secondly,
would that mean that we don't have people capable within?
No, they are capable, but there's nothing wrong with adopting best practice, global best practice. So you learn from other jurisdictions. You don't lose anything. Secondly, the federal government needs to, I said it before, pull all stakeholders together in a transparent and open process to discuss it and come up with creative solutions. And that requires the federal government needs to organize, bring together experts, state governments, local, federal, to a public finance management seminar or conference. Because the truth of the matter is, why are we at this position? Public finance mismanagement.
Quickly, because we're running out of time. You reminded us by trying to analyze the president's speech, and you said he was fantastic, reminding them of what to do and to go back and look inwards. If you were to look inwards in some of these states, or most of these states,
yes,
what are those areas you think that they've not been able to tap into that would have helped them out of this mess?
Well, I could mention some, but the conference I'm advocating will also help them to get more from those who have done it before. Number one is plugging the loopholes where the funds are leaking from. Secondly, bio-verification of your workforce. It is part of plugging loopholes, but I single it out for special mention. Thirdly, in-house, at state levels now, deal with private sector, the chambers of commerce, deal with the public sector, deal with the social enterprise sector, the state stakeholders, come together and discuss the specifics of your own jurisdiction, your state. How can we improve IGR? Remember, Bola Tinubu was able to be very creative when Obasanjo refused to release its funds for almost 2 years.
In fact, Governor Shimolo was here yesterday. He did say for the tax system, they had to come to Lagos with his entire team at that time.
To come and learn.
To come and learn.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, immediate past, led a delegation to Fashola to come and learn part of what Lagos State government did. That's the PDP federal government coming to an APC state government. It is when the good of the people, the development of the people is paramount. Interparty lines disappear because we need to do what? Come together to serve our people. That's what we did. So, I've said what I think should happen at state levels. The FCT is regarded as a state in the constitution for purpose of revenue sharing. So if the state government, if their own minister was able to come and discuss with the Lagos to learn from them, they also went outside and learned from outside, came in, and then started doing the best they could. Other state governments should take cue. And a fourth point, they should organize investment conferences. The state government.
That's spending more money.
It doesn't matter. You spend money to make money. You need to pull in investment into your state. The multiplier effect is very important. You get the PAYE.
To what extent do you think that focus on oil is preventing us from maybe seeing or doing some of these things?
It's the focus is dangerously counterproductive in this country. I don't know how many ambassadors have talked about it and said we need to urgently diversify. Agriculture is a new kid on the block. ICT is another new kid on the block. But I haven't seen the president even talk about it in the last 1 month.
But they can build on, even improve on what the last government did about agriculture.
Exactly, because there are so many agropreneurs out there crying for, assistance. The BOI, the Bank of Industry, is another important body working with the CBN. I mentioned this before, that should advise state governments on what is the best way forward. CBN for public, BOI for private. So when you get all these stakeholders together, the government will come out with a creative solution, federal, state, and local. And then you'll see a change of a paradigm shift. And most important again, the citizens, indigenous of each state, should hold their governors accountable. Because when there's no more public mismanagement of funds, you see loopholes will be plugged.
And that's where we'll anchor, holding them accountable.
Yeah.
And that's what the media also should be doing to different government agencies. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Ekena, also for coming on today. Let's see a comment or two from, let's see, can we do that now? We still have, who knows, a minute or two, possibly. The backlog of them. Well, this one coming in from Adeoye, talking about improvements for INEC.
We're never ripe for anything. Even far back, we were not ripe for independence. I support electronic voting. That's Adeoye.
Okay.
Well, this other one is talking about the cleanup. Says the cleanup and update of the voter register must be continuous. It is fundamental that INEC not disenfranchise voters.
Yeah, you guys go ahead. Knock yourself out.
Well, I did not subscribe to the present government laying blame at the feet of former. Several states have paid, some haven't. I'm talking about unpaid salaries. This is from Eyinda.
Interesting. And then let's see, do we have another one? Yeah, conscience?
Yes.
Okay, conscience says we can blame the former president, but states are also culpable for the mess that they are in.
Tony says the government should enforce repatriating stolen funds, paying up debts, especially hard-earned salaries, and diversifying the economy. Tony.
And then that's where we'll just let it go today. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
I'm Neo Taigwe. Thank you.
Well, thanks, I'm Sulaiman Alede.